There's one feature that used to be on almost every smartphone, a tiny slot. For just $10, you could buy all the storage you'd ever need. Pop in an SD card, and your phone instantly had more space. Simple. Then one day, it disappeared. And the real reason isn't the one most people think. To understand why the SD card vanished, you have to go back to where it all started. Because it wasn't created out of convenience, it was created because of a war. Back in 1999, Sony introduced the memory stick. It was a proprietary format, designed to work only with Sony products. If Sony's format became the industry standard, every other electronics company would be forced to follow Sony's rules. That wasn't an option. So three companies, SanDisk, Toshiba, and Panasonic, quietly came together and created a rival. They called it the Secure Digital Card, the SD card. What happened next surprised everyone. Instead of becoming just another storage format, the SD card became the default storage solution for almost the entire world. Digital cameras, camcorders, Nintendo handhelds, dash cams, and eventually, smartphones. Android manufacturers embraced it completely. Instead of paying for expensive internal storage, people could simply buy the cheapest phone and expand it later. Samsung even turned it into a marketing weapon. They ran advertisements making fun of iPhones for not having expandable storage. And honestly, they had a point. For a few golden years, you actually owned your storage. A 64-gigabyte microSD card cost around $8. You inserted it once, forgot about it, and it just worked. That was the deal. Then everything changed. In 2015, Samsung removed the SD card slot from the Galaxy S6. The backlash was immediate. People hated it. The criticism became so intense that just 1 year later, Samsung brought the slot back with the Galaxy S7. Problem solved, right? Not exactly. In 2021, Samsung removed the slot again, but this time, almost nobody cared. So, what changed? This is where the story gets interesting, because there wasn't just one reason. There were two, and only one of them is the villain you're expecting. The first reason is actually technological. Modern smartphones use something called UFS, Universal Flash Storage, and it's unbelievably fast. The fastest microSD cards available today transfer data at roughly 100 megabytes per second. UFS 4.0, around 4,000 megabytes per second. That's roughly 40 times faster. Apps open instantly. Games load faster. Photos process quicker. Everything feels smoother. Compared to that, an SD card starts feeling like a bottleneck. So yes, technology genuinely moved beyond it, but that's only half the story. Because the second reason changed the entire business model. The cloud arrived. iCloud, Google One, Samsung Cloud. Storage stopped being something you bought once. It became something you pay for. Every single month, recurring revenue. Instead of selling you one $8 SD card that lasts for years, companies could charge you forever. And from a business perspective, that's a dream. So what actually killed the SD card? Technology and subscriptions working together. One made the SD card slower, the other made it less profitable. And that's why it's probably never coming back. Because removing that tiny slot didn't just remove a feature, it completely changed the relationship between you and your data. You used to own your storage. Now, you rent it. Your photos used to sit safely on a card inside your drawer. Today, they live on someone else's server, protected by an account and a password. That can lock you out completely. People discover that reality every single day, usually the hard way. And here's the part that's almost insulting. Upgrading a phone from 128 gigabytes to 512 gigabytes costs manufacturers only about $20 in additional flash memory. But customers are often charged around $200 for that upgrade. A feature that once cost about $10 at a gas station now carries a 10 times markup. All because one tiny slot disappeared. And the funniest part? Modern phones still have enough physical space for an SD card slot. The engineers know it. The designers know it. Somewhere in a meeting right now, someone is probably being asked to come up with another reason why it can't fit. Good luck convincing everyone.